Today, we're diving deep into the world of peptides and specifically collagen peptides. As a dermatologist, I think the online peptide community is the most unhinged and just chock full of misinformation. And part of the reason is because the term peptides is so nebulous. Peptides just refer to a small string of amino acids, as opposed to retinol, which is this structure. This is retinol. This is the fancy name for retinol. We know what retinol is, but peptides can be this, or this, or this, or these. So peptides doesn't really mean anything. And companies are going to come up with their own peptides. They're going to research their own peptides. They're going to find, shockingly, that their peptide is the best peptide that ever peptided. And they're going to charge you $120 for this peptide because it's that good. I mean, peptides, it's all marketing. So let's cut through all the BS today and go over no-nonsense peptide information. First, let's look at the big picture. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to get peptides into the fibroblast, which is a cell that lives in the dermis, and it makes collagen and elastin and hyaluronic acid and a whole bunch of good stuff. Fibroblasts, they have this spiky appearance, and it kind of reminds me of Spider-Man when he's doing that thing with his wrist. So that's our goal, get this peptide into this cell. Our obstacle is the stratum corneum, or the famous skin barrier. Molecules have to be less than 500 Daltons, which is a molecular weight, to get past the stratum corneum. But like anything, peptide development is a technology, and older technology generally doesn't work as well, while newer technology generally works better. So we're going to visualize this today with phones. I'm going to show you the phone that was popular when these peptides were developed, so you'll have a visual representation of how old or how new these peptides are. First, the OG peptide, Tripeptide 1. This peptide was developed in the 70s, and the idea behind this peptide is pretty clever. So when collagen naturally breaks down in your skin, these fragments act as a signal, and it tells your skin, hey, you need to produce more collagen. So if we add Tripeptide 1 to your skincare, we might be able to trick your skin into thinking it needs to build more collagen because it's breaking down. The downside of Tripeptide 1 is that it's hard for this peptide to actually enter the skin, and even if it does enter, it's only active for about 30 minutes. And if it's in there, it may randomly bump into a fibroblast, but there's nothing transporting that peptide to the fibroblast, which is where it needs to be. So Tripeptide 1, this is a phone from the 70s, and it's used in these products. The next peptide, Matrixyl. This peptide reminds me of the Kardashians because it's famous for being famous. Matrixyl was developed in the early 2000s, just like the Kardashians. So they added a fatty acid onto a peptide to help it penetrate better into the skin. It still gets degraded pretty quickly, and it still has to randomly bump into a fibroblast, so the technology is still kind of old. Matrixyl is this phone, and it's found in these products. Next came Matrixyl 3000, which is an upgrade from the original, and it incorporates 2 peptides instead of 1. So the first is very similar to Tripeptide 1. It tricks the skin into thinking that collagen has broken down, so it creates more. The other peptide stops collagen from being broken down, so it works from 2 different angles. Matrixyl 3000 is a Nokia brick, and it's found in these products. Okay, now it's getting interesting. Now we have Matrixyl Synthe'6. This is different because it targets both the epidermis, the top layer, and the dermis, and it helps to produce 6 different components of the skin. So it boosts collagen, elastin, hyaluronic acid, and more. I'd say this is a first-generation iPhone, and it's found in these products. Now let's switch gears to copper peptides. So first, copper Tripeptide 1. So this is the OG copper peptide. The Tripeptide 1 kind of floats around until it bumps into a fibroblast, and the copper itself reduces inflammation, speeds up wound healing, things like that. So this phone, still pretty old, found in these products. If you have tuned out so far because it's been too boring, I understand, but start paying attention now because things get interesting. So this copper peptide is the first real leap in technology that we're talking about so far. So this technology combines two different peptides in a shell for protection. And that peptide has a tag that acts as a key, and it opens up the lock into the fibroblast, and it wipes its feet, and it goes inside and it closes the door. So this is a huge advance in technology, and it's so much more effective at delivering the peptide to where it needs to be. So this is a new iPhone, and it's found in these products. Let's talk Botox in a bottle peptides. So the goal of these peptides is to make their way into a neuron to suppress contraction of your muscles. The idea behind this peptide is similar to others. It bumps around in the skin, hopefully meeting a neuron, hopefully getting inside, and then hopefully suppressing muscle contraction. Argireline, in my opinion, is not even a phone. It's two kids with two cups and a string talking to each other, and it's in these products. And now we get into the good stuff. This is the newer version of Argireline, and it's two different peptides in a protective shell with a key to enter the neuron. So it knocks on the door of the neuron and it says, "Hello, I have a delivery." Then it puts the peptide inside of the neuron. So this is very, very advanced. It's much newer technology than the Argireline from before. So this is a new iPhone, and it's in these products. And lastly, the collagen-preserving peptides. These are all about maintaining what you already have. So they protect your existing collagen by preventing it from being broken down too quickly. They're not flashy, they are just quietly putting in the work.
Nobody wants to work these days.
These are things like rice peptides, soybean peptides. You know, nobody's wetting their pants over a soybean peptide, but they're there, they're doing the work, and they're good peptides to include. So with all the peptides on the market, do they really work? And the truth is, well, peptides, they show a lot of promise, but we're still learning a lot. A lot of the studies we do are performed by the manufacturer themselves, so it's a bit harder to trust them. And also a lot of the studies they do, they're in vitro, which means they're done like in a lab or they're done on animals. So it's hard to say if those results really translate to human skin. One study I looked at, they dead-ass said that the animals looked younger after receiving peptides for 2 weeks. Like, that's so funny. So if you want to look like a little baby bunny, you can try a peptide. And that's all for today. I hope you found this video helpful, and please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.